Alrighty, welcome back to another how-to video. Today we will be creating a normal map. So I just learned how to do this the other day. Thank you to Papa Myers for showing me the basics and everything and what to do. So today I'll be showing you how to make a custom normal map like this with the custom creasing and stuff like that so you can make your own. So you can really do a whole lot with it. You can make the plates, you can make plates and make them stand out, make it look like it has dents, stuff like that. So then you can make it look like it has creasing. This is just my first attempt of actually doing one, so it's not perfect, but it's still, I'll teach you kind of how to, and then you can see it has the creasing sticking out and stuff. So first, if you don't have it already, you will want to get either GIMP, it's completely free, um, or you'll want to get Krita, I think it's called. It's another thing like GIMP. It's completely free. Um, not, Paint.net does not have the amount of brush tools the two that I just mentioned has. So we're really going to be using different brushes today and stuff to help create some of these different textures and everything. So first thing I am going to do is File, Open, and I am going to find, let's see here, I'm going to go to my 77 caddy and open up the UV for it, since that's what we're making the normal map for. So we're going to make another one for this car, and you can just do any of the, this tutorial will be for any of the cars. I'm just doing it for this one. So it's the same process for every single car. You can either freehand it off of this template, or you can also, what I like to do is I like to use Justin Nevias's skin packs. And so you can see here, right here, he has already pictures and he has creased versions of his car. So what I like to do is, so copy or open up one of his skin packs and edit, paste in place. And so you could see here, you could actually see the crease. So I am going to go to paintbrush and, but yeah, you can freehand this if you want. You can freehand the creasing if you want to match up with body lines, but I just did use one of his images as a reference image just because it was easier to follow. Let's see here. So first thing you're gonna want to do is choose a brush. Let's see here. Okay, got the normal brush. And you will want to make sure your paint, I don't know what the options are in Krita, but on GIMP, make sure you select from normal, you select it down to burn. Then we are going to create a new layer, and so as you can see here, when I do this, it's just pretty much a hard edge, so you kind of have to play around with both the hardness and the force, because you want to get it where it is, see how it kind of goes from dark to, you can kind of see a little bit right there. So we will want to raise the brush. There we go. And you can use different brushes and everything too. So if not that one, but you just kind of have to play around with different brushes and everything and see what works, what doesn't. I'm still a beginner at this, but I know how to do the basics and everything. So I just wanted to create a video and show you guys. So let's see here. hardness. Gonna put the hardness down. Okay. So kind of want to follow that body line there. And I like to freehand these just since let's see, that was too big there, but so going to there we go. Yeah, it's just a bunch of playing around with stuff, seeing what works, what doesn't. So we're gonna follow that creased body line. Make sure you leave a little bit of room, depends how big you want your crease to be. So kind of freehand this. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's a derby car. It's not, nothing's perfect in real life. So kind of just see there. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side of the crease. So you want to kind of leave a little bit of a gap in there. Depends how big you want your crease to be. And this one's not going to be perfect and everything just because I'm not taking my time too much for this, but it's the same concept. If you want to make it really nice, you can. But you can see there's a gap right in there. And then I am going to fill in the rest of this over here. And I like to alpha selection the grid map and change it to a different color. Let's say I'm just going to change it to a color that we aren't going to use and fill that in, select none, and then change the opacity down a little bit on that. So then we go back into our brush tool, make sure it's on the burn, and and make sure it's black. And then, because black, you want to use either black or white, and you can try different shades of like gray and everything, but black is goes in, and you can see the white I have here that pops out with the normal map. So I'm going to do all this, shade all this in, and let's see here. And yeah, it's just a bunch of playing around and everything, and then so I'm gonna fill this in here. Alrighty, and then I'm going to, but yeah, you can just follow the lines and everything, or like you can see I created another one right there, which you could see right there I created one. So this is the normal map I created for this. So it has I created a bunch of layers and everything. So, and once you do get your side done here, what I like to do is for like if you want getting the same on the other side, I am going to, well, I am going to duplicate it because I'll show you in a second. If you duplicate something right like on a normal map that's already complete, and let's see here, let's say you want to get that, like you want to get this here, you cannot, let's see, copy, paste in place, and so if we would, if we want to flip this, oops, go. Yeah, if we want to flip this, you can see it completely reversed it. So now this is popping out and the crease is popping in. So it does not work like that. So the easiest thing to do would be to duplicate it in here before you actually create it into a normal map. Sorry if I'm just rambling here a bit. Let's see here, and I am going to flip this vertical and bring this to the other side here. So once we got that done, I am going to merge those two down into it, and you don't have to do this, but it is what I like to do is go to the eraser tool and you could change the thickness and hardness. So I don't like to have for this, I don't like there. You can see it's not a complete hard edge there. And I'll show you. What I like to do is trace around the whole thing, so that way it kind of creates that indent on the whole outside, like on the fender there, or the looks like it's sticking out, so it just adds more to it. So I am going to lower the brush size just a little bit, and I am just going to trace the outer edges. So kind of gives it that look of you creased in here, because this will be the black will be what shows inside, so it'll be what you already creased down in. So this will be white, so it'll stand out more. So I am going to kind of just follow the body line. And then I am going to make sure I delete any of the stuff you don't want shown on the body on the other side. So it's not a big deal on the outside here, but if you are on here, it'll mess with the normal map. So I'm actually going to just delete this side right now, just because I'll just be using this side, and then once we do get to this side with the plates, you are going to want to, let's see here, give it a little bit of room. Let's see here. Yeah, it's just a bunch of playing around, like I said before. This is just the basics of it. So once we get done with that, we'll get it to where we want it. I'm going to duplicate that layer, and I'm going to flip it vertical, and there we go, and then adjust it to where we want it on there. And there we go. Okay, so we got it to where we like it there. So from there, I'm going to create another layer and put it underneath. I'm going to turn off the wire mesh, and we are going to fill it with white. So it should look like this. If you want, you can fill in the little gaps there if you want or not. It just depends. If you just want it like this, and what we're going to do is we are going to merge those black layers that we did into the white layer. From there, we are going to go to Filters, Generic, Normal Map. and it will create a normal map for this. Now, as you can see, what we created for here, it's popping out. So what we're going to do is just flip the Y, and you can see here, you can mess with the strength a little bit. Don't want to go too big, but so we got that right there, and hit OK. So that's the start of the normal map. From there, we will be going into doing the plates and stuff. So what I did was use the feather edges, and then just gotta mess with it. I selected plates like this. You can use your own, you can create your own plates and everything. But so once I did, I got, let's see, is it on this one? Yeah. Let's see here. Yep, that's so what I did is, there we go. So I selected them out and saved them, so I have all the plates to use for another time. So as you can see, and then so once you do have them all selected and copied out everything to where you want them or place them, I am going to go to Tool, Filters. Oh, as you can see here, I am going to put a white background on it again like we just did before, and I am going to go to Filters, Generic, Normal Map, and as you can see, you do, as you can see right here, they look like they're sticking out. If they are not, let's say, they are looking like this, you will want to change it to where they are sticking out here, and you don't want to go too heavy on these because it's just the plates. So I am going to turn the strength down just a little bit and hit OK. So then I am going to copy those, and I am going to, let's see, I'm just going to close that because that's the one that's this one. But so then I'm going to open up what we did before and edit, paste in place. So then it'll show up like this. Then I am going to go to, on this layer, I'm going to go to mode and go into overlay. So then it adds it on top of there. So as you can see right there, we got that done. So from there, we are going to create another layer, make sure it's on transparency for the layer, and going to go into my paintbrush. So right click on the paintbrush and my paintbrush, and you can play around with different things and everything and stuff like that. But let's see, we're gonna use coarse bulk 3 and just play around because it'll show like that. So what I'm going to do, make sure you have it on black, and you can change different radius and everything. And so I am going to just do this for now. And this is, yeah, you can use different brushes, everything. This is just what I use for that other one. Kind of gives it that hit with a sledgehammer look for creasing. So once you got that done, I am going to make sure you are, let's see, oops. So I am going to go into the eraser and I am going to just clean it up just a little bit where the creases are. So make sure, yep, there we go. I'm gonna turn up the hardness a little for this. So do not want it on any of the creases because it'll, let's see right there, do the outsides. Like I said, this is not, this one I'm doing right now, it's not perfect. You can spend a lot more time actually messing around and doing with it. I'm just showing you the basics on how to actually create one. Yeah, this is going to be far from perfect. So once we actually got that done now, we got it all deleted around there, I am going to duplicate the layer, and I am going to flip it vertical and bring it here, because if you do it after you did the normal map, you duplicated this side after the normal map, it's going to show these as popping out. So you'll always make sure if you want to do both sides to do it before you create the normal map. So then I am going to merge those two down into a layer, create a new layer, and put that underneath and fill it with white. So let's see here, and don't know why I did the blue, but it did the blue, that's why. But you'll want to make sure, there we go. It's, yep, there we go. So to turn off all those layers, gonna create, okay, and now it's all black there. So then we're gonna fill it with white, just like that. There we go. Okay, and then we go merge that down, and we go to filters, generic, normal map, and I'm gonna flip it because I want it to look like it's hitting in there. Going to scale it down a little bit because I don't want it to be too strong. So I got it like that, and hit OK. It's saving. There we go. And so I'm going to turn those layers back on, and I'm going to make sure you always are changing it to overlay, so that way it'll show like that over the stuff. So then I'm going to just go to, let's see here, regular paintbrush again, and I'm going to turn on the UV, going to create a new layer, and you can just mess around with it. Oops, make sure it's black, different, just gonna hit different things on the back here, just different dots. Gonna change some of the size, or you can change the size, you can change the force. So that'll be kind of like the hammer look that you get there. Going to add some dots here, add some dots here. Gonna do a little bit of creasing on the edges of the hood. And like with creating the crease and everything, it's the same as up here. So the front fenders, I'm not going to do the front fender for this tutorial video, but it's the same exact process. And let's see. So you get it to where you want it right there, and I'm going to turn off these layers, turn off the UV, and create a new layer, go underneath, and fill it with white. So it'll look like that. I'm going to merge that down, And then I am going to go to filters, noise, generic, normal map. Going to flip. See like how the hardness you want to turn, it'll turn. See how the soft dots kind of turn into a little hit like that, whereas the hard dots, so you're not going to want to use too hard of a brush like I did with these ones, but I'm just going to hit OK for now. And then I'm going to go to overlay and going to turn those back on. So now it overlays those right there. And you don't have to do this either, but I am going to show you. I'm going to turn those off right now. So on Justin's skin packs, what I like to do is go into brush, my brush, and go to the blend blur tool. And so I'm going to just kind of blur some of the stuff here, like just so that'll pop out more. So I'm going to get rid of some stuff. And you don't have to, like right here, I'm going to get rid of that because that'll create an indent right there. Going to just tone down some of the stuff. Let's see here. So this is just blurring, basically just blurring stuff. So I'm blending it into it. And I'll leave just a link in the description to his Patreon and stuff. So once you get it to where you want it, I'm going to go to filters, generic, normal map, and it'll create something like this. Now I'm going to really turn down the scale on it. So let's see here, don't want it too much. Let's see here. So I'm just gonna get it so it just is just a little bit showing there, and hit OK. And you want to make it sure to do it where it'll show everything's popping out like this. So then I am going to, as you can see, and then I'm going to change that to overlay. And I'm going to move that up there. So as you can see now, it adds in some more detail, and then from there I'm going to go into the blur, and you can clean it up some more once you get it to where you want it. So I'm going to clean up some, get rid of some of these. Let's see, I'm going to clean up some of the lines a little bit just to tone them down. Let's see here, especially around the plates. I'm gonna really blur some of the details and stuff so it doesn't get too, like back here, gonna clean up some of that. And so it'll look like, so once you get to this point, then what we are going to do, let's see here. I'm going to close that since I don't need that anymore. So getting pretty close to what it's looking like on here now. And so what I'm going to do is file. Well, first you can save it so that way you can work on it later and everything. So you can save as, and let's see, I'm just going to save it into my BeamNG paint stuff just so I have this. Let's see, test normal map. I'm just going to save it, and then so from once we get done from there, open BeamNG and go into repository mods manager. And so I already have a skin unpacked and everything that I'm going to be using for this. So once you get into your, oops, so I already have a whole skin made and everything for this, and I'll show you here. So this is what we're going to be putting the normal map onto. So it's just a whole bunch of playing around with brushes and trying new things and everything. So we are going to file, export as, and I'm going to take in a second to load here. There we go. So, and I am going to go into my unpacked and I'm going to save it into that last folder, and I'm going to name it, you can name it to whatever you want. I'm going to do 77 test normal map, then underscore n dot normal. Make sure you add this underscore n dot normal and then dot png. So we're gonna save it as a we're gonna save it as a png and export, and then export. So yeah, when you do that, you're not saving it into that folder, you are exporting it as into that folder. So as you can see here, it shows our normal map right there and there. So now we open up the skin.materials, and I have a whole video on how to code stuff too on. So going to go into normal map and change the pathing to what we have here. So, and I'll link a tutorial. I mean, I'm showing you right here, so it's not much different. So then this metric dot underscore n. So I'm going to change the metric to what we have exactly here. So 77 test normal map, and then when you get that done, file, save, and I'm going to hit Control R. So as you can see here, shows up, and yeah, it's just going to be a bunch of trial and error, seeing what works, what looks good, what doesn't, and everything like that. So as you can see here, I'm going to turn down the, so as you can see, it has the little indents there. As we get, I'm going to zoom in here, so you can see here the little indents right there, and then the big ones that don't look as good, but because we did too hard of a brush. But then you got the little indents there, and it's just a bunch of playing around, seeing what works. Let's see, file, just kind of show you. File, open. Let's see, where do I have this saved? What do I have it saved as? There we go. So that normal map I showed before, kind of just gotta save. That's the same brush tool that I used in this, but I really lowered the strength, the radius, and stuff like that. So it's just a bunch of playing around and everything and stuff like that. So once you got your normal map to where you want it to be, so this is just the strength of the normal map at 1, the default. Let's say you want to make it stronger once you actually get it on the car. So I am going to you're going to open up your, let's see here, you're going to open up your coding. And so after the normal map line right there, you are going to hit enter, and you are going to hit quotation mark, normal map, normal, all undercase normal, capital M, map, and then strength, capital S, strength, and then quotation mark, and then we're going to do that right there. So it'll be exactly like this except it will add strength to it. And then from there, you are going to add whatever number you want for it to be. You want to keep it kind of lower. The default is 1, so don't want to get too high. So I'm just going to do 3.5, and don't really want to go past 5 because then it just gets too much. And then gonna hit comma, and then as you can see here, so default 1, and when I hit file save and reload the car with Control R, it really brings it out right there. So that is pretty much all there is to normal map. It's just a lot of trial and error. See what works, what doesn't. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hope this definitely helped. Thanks for watching.